So welcome to the node.js node add-on node API team meeting for October 6th, 2023. We'll follow our standard agenda of looking at what is on the milestone 11. Before we jump into that, is there any news or anything that people would like to share? No? Okay. Let me share my screen. Let's find the right, there we go. Okay, so this first one is tracking issues for V8 changes. I don't know, Chenzong, if you have anything we should discuss on that one?
Well, I don't have any updates on this, but this is created for request that is blocked on V8 changes to be landed on the node main branch. So yeah, it's just a watching list that we should wait on the V8 currency working group. I'm not sure if it's working group. Yeah, we just wait for the V8 updates to be synchronized to the main branch.
Okay, so the changes are already in V8. We just need to wait for them to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For what it's worth, there has been a cherry pick on September 27th. I just checked the Git log for the main branch. It's probably not what we want. It's embedded target OS on IBM I with Python 3.9. So that doesn't sound like it's our commit.
So it depends, like the commits will make it in as node upgrades to newer versions of V8. That won't get anything back until the LTS versions because we don't tend to upgrade V8. If there's a specific commits we need, we probably need to propose those as like, hey, here's a commit.
Yeah, well, I mean, this PR doesn't introduce any breakages. Rather, the issue is long-standing one. If any user add-on invokes a proxy handler that is throwing, so the problem is already there, and yeah, we can cherry pick the V8 patch, but I believe it can be the patch contains many unrelated changes, so I'm not sure if it is worthy since there is no user complaining about this behavior. And
yeah, so, no, that sounds like we should just let it come in naturally.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what we discussed last time about this issue. So we just wait naturally for the V8 patch to be landed on the main branch.
Okay, sounds good. So on the list, so we don't forget, but we'll just wait. I guess we already said nothing really new to announce on Node API, Node add-on API. I don't think there's an update on the list of C language bindings yet, or full coverage. Jump in if you have an update on these as I go quickly through. Not on debug testing. So the next one would be stale issues. So this is the one that we landed, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah. So now the implications. gotta go over all the implications.
Yeah, is that done, or is there a next step, or should I close this?
So like some specific issue blocked on it. I don't know if it's something.
Yeah, let's go back. This was this one, right?
I think this is, if I read that correctly, it sounds like it amounts to basically the port of the new feature, the post finalizer feature to Node add-on API.
Right. So would that have automatically affixed this, or is it something that something more we need to do?
add-ons add-on have to upgrade the NPM versions if they would like to utilize this behavior. And if any of them are calling into JavaScript functions in the finalizer, then they have to change their code in case if they would like their finalizer to be invoked eagerly.
Right.
So, yeah. I don't think there is anything. I think this particular item is finished since the pull request has landed. And the next issue, we can create another fresh one to check the adoption of the pure finalizers.
Okay, now I think we should maybe like this one, we should comment with the landing here. You can see if my comment makes sense with the landing of this issue should now be resolved. If you test against the node.js main branch or node.js 21 once it goes out, I think. Maybe the node.js nightly.
An API experimental needs to be turned on.
Yeah, and API experimental.
Okay, I see. So this person already has pure, their finalizers content is pure. It's just it wasn't getting invoked. In that case, this issue is indeed resolved. Although they are going to have to use core C API. Oh no, they won't. No, they won't. Never mind. They just need to compile against experimental.
Yeah, just simply recompile the
Yeah, with experimental.
with API experimental.
So it might, it's fair to say it might require some small tweaks to the add-on.
It should, in theory, be completely transparent. I don't think did we have anything since releasing 10 that we knew would require work by add-on maintainers?
No, I guess the one I was thinking of, like, if they don't have pure finalizers, they would have to, right?
Well, okay, yes. So perhaps what we should mention is that one of the implications is that it might crash intentionally and with an appropriate message in case there are like restricted calls in the body of the finalizer.
Makes callbacks to JavaScript. You may need to update it to use, and it would be, let's see, what would that method be?
Node API post finalizer.
Okay. Use node API post finalizer like that, right?
Yep. Might want to put it in backticks just to make it clear that it's a new API.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, you
that's
experimental.
What was that? Oh, yeah, okay.
Was muted.
There we go. Okay, so I think maybe what we could do is we can then close this one as a stale issue, and if that issue goes stale again, then we can look at it like, okay, well, has the originator re-engaged, or if not, but like from our perspective, we think we're complete. And so I'm going to hide this one. Resolved. Okay, so then the next one. I guess the question is, Chenzong, we were wondering last time, we weren't sure if this was actually now complete or if there was anything else that we should track before closing this stale issue.
Yeah, I believe as is the issue, it is complete.
Okay, so let me just look at this one. Similarly, the stale issue that triggered it. Nope, what did I do wrong there? This. Nope, maybe. Back. No, stale issues, here we go. Okay, so I wanted this. Maybe if I just click on that. So should I just do the same thing and ask that they double check this, or I'm gonna, so I'll say this has, oh, it's actually been closed, right? Yeah, okay, so never mind. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It
Right.
is closed with when the pull request landed.
Okay. Okay, good. So let's just say this is hide as a result. Okay. And then just we have the samples, which I know is on the backlog. So unless there's any update, we will move on to looking at new issues and stuff. Okay, pull requests. This one I see okay. That I think I will just go ahead and merge and hope that it now is recognized. That one I'll take a look afterwards. I don't, so anything on the purity, I know that's a longer running thing. I don't know, Gabriel, if there's anything you wanted to chat about that one.
Yeah, I have a PR in core
Okay,
that I would like to please get a review on whenever you guys have a chance.
what number is that? If I go into there, is there
It's in there. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, at the bottom.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait, what? No, not this one. Wait, I thought I made it. Oh no, no, I put that with the issue. There should be a link to an issue in here. Where I kind of describe that idea of partitioning.
Right,
It's
okay.
not a PR, it's an issue in Node.js on API. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't put a link.
Okay, so
There, the idea thing.
this one, okay, right,
Yeah, so there at the bottom, there's the PR.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, when you can,
Basically-
oh wait, there's been a comment. Nice. We should check the comment.
Okay, so maybe it's like, well, but why? Okay, so maybe you can jump in or like a point back to the other issue or something if that's
Yeah.
not obvious, but okay. But yeah, okay, so they ask us people take a look. This is I'm trying to think. Non-breaking, or this is like it would be breaking if you opted in, right? Yeah, and we've guarded it by this. Right, okay, so non-break, got it. Okay, yeah, so we should take a look. Sounds good.
Yeah, I was hoping
These
that
others- Go ahead.
for the previous issue, I was hoping that we can solve, instead of using const, using something else. The only kind of closest thing I found, the so-called transparent unions, but they're only, unfortunately, non-standard and only works in Clang and GCC, not in MSCC.
Okay,
Oh, I thought of one thing that conceptually kind of rhymes with it being const, and that's the fact that we treat the engine as const, as in read only. We cannot modify the state. So const is kind of, you can think of it that way, and then it's kind of justified to call it const. Like you can't change the environment, right?
Right, like a JavaScript state.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. So the engine is const, therefore you cannot write to the engine even to request a property or anything. Even though that sounds like a read-only operation, it's not. So
Right.
I don't know if it's a stretch or if it makes sense as a concept, but that's the only one I can think of that would justify calling it const and not something else.
As a
Yeah,
character,
the
people will be able to.
conclusion. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the conclusion was that the constness only represents the constness of the native C++ object. When, if I recall correctly, the conversation taking place in the node add-on API.
Right, because we did have a big discussion about it. Like, did we have to make the, like, if something was const, was it okay if we changed the JavaScript side? And I think in the end, what Shenzong, you're saying, we agreed we can. It's really const is just a C level concept.
Yeah, I mean, even though the method is marked as const, they can eventually cause static effects in JavaScript land.
Yeah, and I think even we figured like there was C or C++ equivalents where, like, you know, you have a const pointer, but you could still change the things that it pointed to or that kind of stuff.
Sorry, I'm not following. Like, it's.
I think it's
like
a little unrelated, but it's that we had a big conversation over whether things that were declared const in the APIs should be able to have side effects on the JavaScript side of things. So
I would say depends on what is declared const, right? Like we've never declared the environment itself to be const. We've declared like objects which are essentially wrappers around values const, perhaps. Like for example, for object wrap, some things treat the object wrap instance as const because they conceptually do not write to it. But we have never treated the environment itself as const. Right. And so the semantics of what it means for an environment to be const is sort of up for definition. And this would seek to define that.
yeah, it was just back like we had a previous, we've had previous suggestions to mark things const. And we went through the discussion of like, well, we can do that at the C level and that'll have certain effects. It means you can't change things in the C level side, but you would still be able to change things on the JavaScript side. And so we had a big discussion. It's like, is it okay to make these things const? Because, and we agree, in the end, we said, yes, it's fine because it doesn't, you know, we're not implying you can't change things in the JavaScript side because they're far enough divorced from indirection. So, but I don't think that doesn't mean that. So what that means, I think, is based on that discussion, us making something const, like if we made M const, that does not imply that you can't change the JavaScript things in the JavaScript based on the general thing. But it doesn't mean that we can't document that like, hey, when you see M as const, that means blah, right? But that would not be just a common pattern from that would be implied.
For what it's worth, the const of it is sort of an implementation detail. It's because it's the only mechanism available that sort of simulates simple inheritance, like the inheritance relationship between a single parent class and a single subclass. It's the only way to simulate that in C is using const. But the like add-on maintainers will never encounter const this and that. It'll be like node API pure env and an API env. Those are the two quote unquote classes that they will encounter. And so, you know, they're just gonna deal with like the compiler errors and warnings, which are desirable because you want to encounter these things at compile time rather than at runtime where we trip over the check GC access and, you know, they have to, their build process is successful, everybody's happy, and then boom, it crashes. This would give them an early warning that, you know, it's not even going to run if you don't make these changes before it even builds.
Yep.
So that's kind of the idea. So I think the constness is kind of internal to our team.
So anything more that we should chat on about that one?
No, I just need that review, and I need to convey some of this discussion that we had to Ben.
Yeah.
And hopefully that should answer his question.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, I'm flipping over to here where I'm saying is. I think that's what we were already just talking about. And I don't see anything particularly recent, any of these that we should discuss.
Yeah, I noticed that Michael, you mentioned me in Node API core consolidation about
Right,
what.
I think we discussed that last time.
Yeah, yeah. Would you mind
Yep.
opening the doc, Google Doc in the
Sure. Yep.
OP
This one.
opening? Yeah, right. I have updated the status of the items that we mentioned in the document, and there are callback scope and there's a function issues that left to be done. To be honest, the callback scope issue is raised by Anna, and I don't have clear shape of the next steps that we can do to address the issue and raised. So I didn't write up any concrete actions that we should take.
What was the original? So the related discussion came out of this.
It's about the different approaches we take for callback scope and async contact checking. For example, we didn't take a async resource for finalizers, but for slicer function, we take use of async resources. So it's more about internal how we use node.js core internal callback scope and async resources. So it's inconsistent in Node API code base, but I have no idea how we can improve this, since we in Node API we have to handle the return value and the thrown exception differently from the other part of Node.js core code base. So that's basically the different part from the other part of Node API core code base. So that's, even though it is requested by Anna that we should make Node API core implementation aligned to the other part of the code, but I don't have any concrete ideas that how we can achieve this. So that's
is
left
that
on,
there's like a callback scope, and then we have a different callback scope?
Yeah, basically that's the thing, and we have and yeah, that's basically the idea.
Okay, so because maybe we could plan in one of our meetings to go through look at the differences.
Yeah, before we can take I believe a document write up will be to clarify the ideas would be great, since yeah. And the next issue is the static function, which has two concrete problems that have been raised. The first is the finalizer class hierarchies of the static function. This is static function has a API finalized parameter analogous to, like, say, an API add finalizer. Yeah, but the static function internal class doesn't inherit the finalizer class in Node API core. So that's the basic problem in our code base. And the second one is the thread safety or thread function finalizer. The problem is that when the environment is going to shut down, we are going to call thread functions finalizer at the point when add-ons async work on another thread might still in progress. So there is a risk problem when the environment is going to shut down. And yeah.
Right. So it's because it's the finalizers for TFSNs are in the finalization queue.
Yes, exactly. But and the finalizer is not triggered by an API release. There's a function, so the add-on may not aware. Yeah, that's basically the condition that the add-on the finalizer may trigger thread safety problems when the environment is going to shut down, since they may access data that is being accessed on another thread of add-ons work.
Right.
But yeah, this one is I don't have a concrete solution to this problem.
And if we didn't run that finalizer when it has active reference counts, then we would leak memory, right? Yeah,
if the add-ons work is indefinitely, the memory leak, it will leak memories.
And I guess in that case, like cause I guess we either could like try and wait. You could like say, because I guess we do like a finalization, we go through the loop, we go through the list. But actually having run the finalizers could cause us to have to go through the list again, right?
Yeah, we can end up pushing a new finalizer onto the queue.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, but I'm sort of walking through, but so deferring, like we could basically say, oh, we've been asked to run the finalizer, we're in shutdown, but there's an active reference count. So let's not do it now. Let's just push this one to the end of the finalization list.
But it control will reach it again and again and again, because the thing that tells us that it's okay to actually finalize now is running on a different thread. So okay, yes, we push it to the back of the queue, and by the time the while loop reaches that point to which we pushed it, by that time the other threads, we have already informed them that we're aborting, right? And so all the attempting to post messages and so forth will all return, I think, an API closing or something like that. Which is great, but they may or may not have had a chance to run. And so we would essentially keep pushing forward, holding up the shutdown of the environment until finally all the threads said, oh, okay, I better dereference this thread safe function. And then finally we shut down. And that may be the way we want to go, but it relies on correct implementation on the part of the user.
Yeah,
Right. So go ahead.
the original issue of this one is talking about the difficulty when utilizing the thread function, especially in different languages like Rust, since they have to create another struct in their language representation, so that could be problematic.
So it doesn't encapsulate everything. You still need to do synchronization, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, that exactly.
Yeah, I guess I didn't have like Rust in mind when I wrote this. But yeah, it definitely needs a more in-depth study. And the thing of it is, like, how aggressive are we to be during environment shutdown about this environment shutdown, right? I mean, is it a cooperative affair where, you know, non-cooperating parties such as add-ons may interfere and eventually even break the process? Or is it something that we impose harshly on everybody and say, no, I'm sorry, the environment is shutting down. That's it. And then they crash and they're like, why did I crash? Well, the environment was shutting down and you didn't handle it correctly. So what is our posture, you know, in this situation?
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah.
like, which do we think is worse, a crash or a hang?
Yeah. I think this is what it boils down to.
And imagine for a second what people may do in this another thread. Like they can access, for example, operating system file system, right? Like somebody opening a file or kind of opening pipe and supposed to close the pipe. And if we kind of be too harsh, people can potentially kind of lose some resources or something.
The middle of the I mean, and there's probably other options where like we allow a certain amount of hang, right? Like we could say, well, we're going to defer for a second, but after that, we then, you know, are going to. So I don't know. We need to figure out what's the right, you know, if one or the other is the right answer, then we could go that way. Or if like maybe, you know, trying for one and then eventually giving up and going for the other. But I don't know.
One thing that springs to mind as a possible solution is to let the user control this using like a command line argument, like how long shall we wait during environment shutdown for you know, asynchronous cleanup. Right. And yeah, but setting a default value for that will still be our responsibility.
Yeah, I like actually deferral mechanism. I think it's exactly what's being used for mobile applications. At least I know it's on the Windows environment. I think it's great. From one hand, we can notify all these different threads this shutdown is happening, and from other hand, we can give them opportunity to shut down.
Yeah, we can even throw a warning, like, you know, something to the effect of, okay, we've deferred this thing, you know, 10 times now, so, you know, fix your app.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a concrete solution right now, and we can probably opening issues for all of these problems respectively. But since the sensitivity has its own issue already, so I believe that will be the one we can discuss the solution for it. Yeah, and so as a conclusion, I believe the one that we can address already is the one about the function hierarchy, class hierarchy, which is the function finalizer one. So this is totally an internal refactor, so it can be done right away. And yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so the question was like, yeah, how much had been done? And so it's good that you've checked off, like there's been quite a bit of progress made.
yeah,
And there's still some things to do.
yeah. Most of them are about pure file analysis, which is done by Vladimir's awesome work. So yeah, luckily we have the pure landed just before we discuss in this document.
Okay. So it sounds like you have some next steps in mind, or like planning to open issues or whatever, but like we'll keep this open issue because it still needs to track ongoing work as the.
Yeah, probably I can break this down into smaller issues and close this one instead. Yeah, I can see how what's the better course for this.
Yeah, if there's a
And
small enough
yeah.
amount of things left, that could make sense.
Yeah, definitely I can do that.
Okay, sounds good. Any other ones that we should take a look at?
I think last time I also discussed a bit about these changes to API for WASM. I don't know. Is Chinjong had chance to follow up?
Yeah, I have landed since as I have checked that underscore wasm underscore predefinition is defined in, like, say, almost all compilers like Clan and Mscripton. So yeah, I have landed since it has 2 approvals.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sounds good. Any others? Okay, well, if not, then thanks for everybody's time. Good discussion as always, and we will see everybody in GitHub and next time. Thanks.
Yeah, talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
Talk to everybody
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye-bye.